This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV for Friday, November 17th, 2023. I'm Derek Gilbert. It's our Friday 5, the 5 big stories of the week as we head into the weekend. Again, just a reminder, please, if you're watching on YouTube, to subscribe to our channel. It's at 5 in 10. But then we'll tell you how to take steps to guarantee we never get canceled before the end of the program. Topic number 5 again this week, of course, is Israel. Tuesday this week, the largest pro-Israel rally in U.S. history and possibly in world history took place in Washington, D.C. An estimated 300,000 people converged on the National Mall to show support for Israel. Democrats, Republicans, politicians, Chuck Schumer, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, sharing a stage to show support for Israel. This was a positive thing, but there was one dark note as a group of about 900 Jews from Detroit were left stranded on the tarmac at Dulles International Airport. They'd contracted chartered flights to fly from Detroit to Washington and then hired buses to take them to the National Mall, but the drivers apparently refused to transport them, so they were stuck on the tarmac. Because it was charter flights, they didn't go through TSA security, so they couldn't go into the terminal. They were stuck on the tarmac. Now, there's some question as to what happened here, whether this was drivers refusing to take them or something else. Some of the people from Detroit did make it to the rally. A few buses showed up to take them, but according to the owner of one of the companies whose drivers did actually transport some of that Detroit group to the rally, it appears that the broker didn't contract enough buses to move 1,000 people from the airport to the rally and then tried to explain it away by saying, oh, my drivers pretended to be sick. So we're not quite sure what happened there. Meanwhile, another State Department dissent memo has surfaced, which slams President Biden's handling of the crisis between Israel and Hamas. The memo, obtained by the news site Axios, signed by 100 employees inside the State Department. Not just the State Department, but also USAID, which is, frankly, it's a cutout for the intelligence community. Anyway, it asserts that Biden is supporting war crimes by not condemning Israel and stopping the ongoing ground assault in Gaza. The memo goes after Biden directly, saying that he is spreading misinformation and that his support for Israel constitutes war crimes. This is a pretty blunt statement coming from the bureaucracy inside the State Department. Explains a lot about U.S. foreign policy if this is a prominent view inside the State Department. The misinformation claims that the White House has incorrectly questioned the number of deaths issued from Gaza's health ministry. Of course, remember, the Gaza Health Ministry is under the control of Hamas, which has a vested interest in inflating the number of civilian casualties to make Israel look bad in the eyes of the world. Meanwhile, the BBC on Wednesday published an apology after falsely claiming that IDF forces were targeting medical teams as it battles in and around the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza, where Hamas has a command and control center underneath the hospital. IDF forces encountered explosives and weapons inside the hospital as they battled Hamas forces there. And the Al Jazeera network, which is based out of Qatar, cut off an interview with a resident of Gaza when the resident began blaming Hamas for civilian deaths. The man said, and I quote, "What is happening is a crime. Why is Hamas hiding among us? Why don't they go to hell and hide there?" The interviewer cut the man off and turned away. Topic number 4, Ukraine. We also talked about the ongoing war in Ukraine this week as it appears the end game is near. A top aide to President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine warning that the coming year will decide the fate of Ukraine and its war with Russia. I would suggest that the fate has already been decided, as the areas in red captured by Russia in the early days of the war last year still in the hands of Russia after 5 months of Ukraine's counteroffensive. And now the attention of the United States, the United Kingdom, and NATO on what's happening in Gaza and Israel instead of what's happening in Ukraine. I think the only clear path forward for Zelensky and Ukraine is how to try to save face while admitting that they're not getting Crimea back, and now they've also lost the Donbass. Topic number 3, the censorship industrial complex. A few stories this week. We talked about UNESCO's desire to control the internet. This is, again, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. They have declared that disinformation and hate speech is a major threat to stability and social cohesion. And so next year, they plan to deploy teams of qualified moderators to carry out reliable and effective control of content that is posted online. And to that end, they are convening the world's first Conference of Regulators next summer. That's not too dystopian, huh? Conference of Regulators. Here in the U.S., New York State Governor Democrat Kathy Hochul announced that her government is collecting data from social media to combat hate speech following a rise in anti-Semitic incidents in New York following the terror attacks of October 7th. Again, collecting data from social media sites, essentially instituting a department of pre-crime to try to head off crime before it happens. Just the other night, on Tuesday, that is, on Fox News, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, who's a Republican candidate for president, said that she wants everyone who uses social media to have to verify their real names online. In other words, you can only use X, Facebook, Truth Social, Gab, MeWe, Getter, whatever, if you use your real name. No more pseudonyms on social media. Okay, kind of unconstitutional and kind of dystopian. Again, this just sort of shows that this is not just a Democrat-Republican issue. The deep state as a whole is behind this initiative to try to prevent people from saying what we think. I mean, the First Amendment, again, the First Amendment, that's how important the framers of the Constitution thought it was, guarantees our right to say things that some people might consider hateful. Governor Haley considers the use of a pseudonym on social media a threat to national security. Well, journalists like Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger, who you see in the photo here, Taibbi on the left, Schellenberger on the right, Barry Weiss and others who've done really award-winning work, literally award-winning work in exposing the censorship industrial complex behind the United States government and worldwide. They are just within the past week, Schellenberger showing through his feed on X how a government cutout called the Stanford Internet Observatory. So ostensibly, allegedly a private institution. It's Stanford University. It's not the U.S. government, except they were working as a cutout for the Department of Homeland Security and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, an office inside DHS. They helped the government censor unapproved opinions on social media and then lied about it. This is something called the Virality Project, which was a joint effort by big tech, universities, and non-government organizations to combat anti-vaccine misinformation. Now, why would they care who was funding this effort? Well, the U.S. government in part, but why would the U.S. government? Who was funding the government effort? Follow the money, see who benefits. New evidence shows, and this is what Schellenberger is reporting on his X feed this week. I highly encourage you to follow him, if not subscribe to him. Shows that Stanford lied about the scope of this project and that its censorship efforts were in fact taken on behalf of the United States government. This is unconstitutional, the government trying to get around the violation of our First Amendment rights by farming it out to private organizations like Stanford University, like NGOs, and so on. This is far too big a story to give attention to here in this format. Please do some digging on this. The Virality Project, the Stanford Internet Observatory, and the censorship industrial complex. The deep state, the political class, want to shut us up. And by us, I don't mean us, Skywatch TV. I mean you, me, all of us. And only allow those voices who parrot the official narrative to have access to social media. Topic number 2, Iceland volcano. Just an update after experiencing 700 earthquakes on Tuesday. Meteorologists in Iceland said on Wednesday there were 800 more. Furthermore, they found sulfur dioxide leaching to the surface, which indicates magma is near ground level. Researchers believe the amount of magma in the tunnel underneath the southwestern peninsula extending from the island of Iceland significantly more than were present during eruptions that took place just 2 years ago at a volcano just northeast of the Reykjanes Peninsula, which came back to life after about 800 years of dormancy. Apparently, this is a cycle that appears to be starting up again, which means that after between 600 and 1,200 years of inactivity, you get about 200 to 500 years of eruptions. To that end, a small community, about 3,000 people in that peninsula, evacuated. It's not clear whether it will survive the imminent eruption. By the way, the name Reykjanes in Icelandic means smoking peninsula, and that appears to be well named. Coming up, space clones from Kansas. That's next on the Friday Five.
We want to make sure that you're aware of the largest giveaway of the year in the We Are Legion Grand Collection. When you order the We Are Legion Grand Collection from skywatchtvstore.com, you'll receive We Are Legion for We Are Many, Dominions, Cosmo Craters, and Washington, D.C. Unmasking the Ancient Riddle of the Hebrew Year 5785 and the Eminent Destiny of America by best-selling author Dr. Thomas Horn. Divided We Stand, the globalist scheme for a one-world government by Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, and The Prince of the Power of the Air and the Last Days, Satanology, History, Prophecy, and Technology by Jeffrey W. Martis. But we're just getting started. This must-have collection also includes the breathtaking 2-hour documentary, The Secret Destiny of America, on DVD, featuring Dr. Thomas Horn as he reveals who the God on America's Great Seal and U.S. $1 bill really is, why 72 pentagrams in the Capitol Dome are used to control the ancient Cosmo Craters who rule the nations, the coming incarnation of Antichrist, and much, much more. But that's not all. With the holidays just around the corner, now's your chance to save big and receive solid bonus merchandise absolutely free. Because also included in the We Are Legion Grand Collection are any number of brand new, super quality, overstock gift books, DVDs, or audio sets to add to your library or to give away as gifts this coming holiday season. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of nearly $150. Yours now for your donation of only $35 plus shipping and handling, so act quickly. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. This is the largest giveaway of the year, just in time for the holiday gift-giving season, and is available only while supplies last, so don't delay. Visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the We Are Legion Grand Collection now.
Item number one today, space clones from Kansas. It could happen. Probably won't, but it could. An 86-year-old physics professor at Washburn University in Kansas, Dr. Ken Ohm, says he plans to launch his remains into space. Actually, not to space, but to the south pole of the moon, where potentially someday an extraterrestrial race may find his remains, extract his DNA, and reconstitute him to create an army of clones. Or perhaps just a human exhibit for a space zoo. I guess he's willing to take that risk. It's actually kind of a cool memorial when you think about it. Kind of the ultimate, as Dr. Ohm says, when the moon is full, his descendants will look up and say, well, Grandpa is up there. That's kind of cool if you can afford it. He's contracted with a company called Celestis, which was founded about 20 years ago to do exactly this, launching remains into space. You can send them in orbit, you can send it to deep space. This, as far as we know, the first time somebody's sending his remains to the moon. But there are some people from more than 35 nations around the world have done this, including actor James Doohan, who became famous for portraying Scotty on Star Trek. Yes, he is now in space. So again, even though he might someday wind up as an exhibit in a space zoo, Dr. Ohm willing to take that risk, that one small step for man. This week on Skywatch TV, we continue our conversation about the forthcoming book, well, the new book, and the last book by Dr. Tom Horn. We Are Legion, for We Are Many. What are the spirits behind the deep state? When we talk geopolitics, we've got to talk theopolitics. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the cosmic rulers over this present darkness. That's the discussion. You can find the program right now at skywatchtv.com. All of our video content is always there. You can watch it over the air. Our broadcast schedule is posted at skywatchtv.com skywatch.tv/channels. Find the date and time for the broadcast near you. Or if you've got Roku or Apple TV, make sure you've got the Skywatch TV channel for your set-top box and watch it right now there. You can also catch it at YouTube or Rumble, youtube.com/@SkywatchTV now, rumble.com/SkywatchTV, or better yet, guarantee we never get canceled. Download the free Skywatch TV app to your smartphone or tablet. Why? Not only does it get you all of our video content, it's hosted by a Christian company. We pay for their server space and for the traffic, and so we will not be canceled from our own app. Also, three times a week, news updates that are, items the mainstream media ignores or hopes you will miss, and many other features as well. It's available for iOS, Android, and Amazon Kindle Fire phones and tablets, and we've got links to their app stores at our website, skywatchtv.com. Thank you for watching. As we keep watching, have a blessed weekend. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is the Friday 5 and 10 from Skywatch TV.